Alright, guys. We've got herO for T1 on the top left side of the map, sending an instant probe across the map because he does not want Solar to expand. It is the grand finals of the Kung Fu Cup. And Solar's got his work cut out for him, playing against big dog herO. herO is so annoying to play against in StarCraft. His whole strategic basis, his philosophy of the game is annoy my opponent as much as possible, flow through the chaos, and find a path to victory. He is impossible to predict because he does not make up his mind on exactly what he's going to do before the game starts. He has many different things he wants to work on at once. Unfortunately for him, despite sending one of his first probes across the map, Solar goes for hatchery before Overlord. Predicted that herO wanted to block him, and therefore herO does lose in this opening matchup. But Solar gets bullied off of a mineral patch already. He's going to need to attack that with a drone. He does quickly fix up his micro to limit the damage. Now that probe in the mineral line could have died there. That's a classic herO move. Almost all of his shields were already gone. If Solar attacked with all these drones, that probe almost certainly dies. But herO, so rarely will people actually attack him that he almost always gets away with it. I know Dark was one of the few guys who would kill that probe. I also would try to kill his probe. Every time I got to play herO in a weekly cup, I'd be like, all right, I'm killing this probe. Because he just goes inside the mineral line. Look at that, he's got 15 hit points, 3 drone hits to kill him, and he goes through the mineral line. There's no way it's not worth killing that. But players are so focused on, I know herO is trying to bait me, and they've been traumatized from pulling drones and him quickly doubling back in the other direction and mineral walking away so many times that they're like, no, I don't want to lose mineral bite. No, don't do it. Don't fall for his bait. But I've seen him lose it many times. Now, this is, of course, an awful wall-off, guys. It has 2 holes, but he's going to build another pylon there later to seal the deal. Normally, you don't want 2 pylons in the wall because you'd rather more production space in your main base, but herO is going to do herO things and, of course, just play as well as he can. Probes just still being a nuisance, but I still think getting that natural on location this early game definitely wins for Solar. It's just that it's annoying. It's just disruptive with this probe. Just makes you do a bit of extra work here in the early game. The Zerglings are almost out. If he stays here any longer, he will almost certainly lose. I think he's going to lose the probe. These 2 Lings are out now. They can get in front of this probe, maybe. Oh, he's going to take at least 4 hits, I think. 1, 2, only 3 hits and gets off creep. He should be fine. He'll make it home. herO, of course, if he was half a second slower to leave that base, he's dead. But herO, as usual, cutting things as fine as he possibly can and getting away with it. The man is truly blessed. Drone's going to go over to the 3rd base right now. He will take that hatchery shortly. Now, all the Europeans go 3rd queen before 3rd hatchery these days. Solar still does it the old school way, which I do as well with a 3rd hatch. And he actually even goes Overlord before 3rd queen. Interesting. But I guess with no Chronod Adepts coming across the map, he doesn't have anything to worry about, does he? It's just 1 Adept went out looking for Zerglings. The Overlord's going to poke forward here. See if those Adepts come across the map. Stargate is, of course, now ready. And it's a Void Ray opening. She will be using... Oh, he cancelled the 2nd Adept, guys. And now he restarts it. We're trying to use that money to get the Void Ray and then the pylon and the wall off as quickly as possible. Interesting. Thinking about taking a 3rd. One of these probes will head over there in a moment. Oh, okay. 3rd Nexus is up. Void Ray's coming forward. Oh, that Overlord's going to go down. Youchies. Not really. It's not that big of a deal. He knew it was going to go down the moment he saw the Void Ray. As long as he pulls these guys back, he's fine. The annoyance is always that Overlords like this that you want to put behind here, you don't really want to put that there anymore. Should probably pull this back. Otherwise, the Void Ray may catch it. But it does mean you'll have less warning of where the oracles come from. So gives herO a chance to be extra cheeky in the follow-up. Lings will go for the pylon. Oracle's going to be out soon, but Void Ray does get back in time. 1 Zergling falling. Ooh, that's a quick lair. Solar's going to go straight Hydra Den. Good choice against the Void Rays. The problem here is if it's Glaive Adept afterwards or a charge slot all in, you really are being very greedy. Okay, he does drop a Roach Warren. I was going to say, if you're just going straight Hydra Den, that's crazy. Solar has been using mutas quite well recently. Does he feel he can do them against herO? herO's been really good at hitting timing attacks. Creep spreading to the top right. So there's 3 active tumors. Oracle could come in and kill those at any point, but of course I think they're just out of vision. And the queens do arrive to secure that position. Oh, Overlord speed. Okay, Solar's going to hit a German taxi. He's going to load Queens into the Overlord. He's just going to go for a shove. And there's a Robo Bay. What in the world is herO doing, guys? Anyone, describe this build to me. Any high-level prototype, explain what we're seeing. This is a Void Ray into Oracle into Immortal into... Is it Disruptors? Colossus? What in the world? I assume it's... Is it Charge Colossus? Charge Disruptor? What a bizarre start. The thing is, he's going to have 2 Immortals ready for this timing. He doesn't even know this attack's coming out of Solar. A couple of Immortals is going to be really good. They'll actually help a lot, man. Ling's trying to get in, but with the Void Ray there and a few more Warpins, it's an easy defense for herO. Of course, this is all meant to distract your opponent. And if he can go around the right, the Oracle might not see it. The Zerglings are distracting him. He does build a cannon at the third base. Ling's going to try to get in. Anything to distract him right now. herO should see the roaches coming now. He's got to get out of here. herO has to get out of here. He's so distracted by these Zerglings. He doesn't seem to realize what's happening. The Adepts are going to go across the map, try and trade maybe on these drones here. Zergling Rally should be able to deal with it along with the Queen, but he's of course focused on getting the attack going. Those 2 Immortals with the cannons coming up in both natural and third. If those cannons get up, it'll be a massive moment. Solar a little bit slow to unload the Queen. A little bit slow. Might be understating it. He's going to lose the Dropper Lord, but I don't know if that's the worst thing because the Queens are already on the front line, which means the Void Ray goes down. The Immortal's already taking a fair bit of damage. That battery on the third is very far away. The barrier finally does activate as the shields run out. Cannon is up in the natural, but with the Ravager Biles landing, that cannon's going to go down very fast. Of course, the Immortals and Stalkers trying to deal with this Ravager, but it does finish morphing. So many Ravagers, which means the cannons will fall. And look at this, with the Zerglings coming on top, the Stalkers and Immortals do not manage to do their bonus damage against those. But the Immortal, the red at point 1, does slip away on the right side. A Colossus comes out. Zerglings, no match for that. Dude, is herO actually going to be able to defend this with the Colossus? Colossus is in the open. It's stutter stepping back. Can the Ravagers get it? No, they can't. He makes it to safety. The Colossus, if the probes pull, might be able to survive. With the battery coming up, he survives. On the left side, the Stalkers and Immortals coming in as well. Dude, herO, you absolute dark wizard. You frigging bloody warlock of foul magics and dark energies. How do you always do this? The Immortal goes down. It's still very scary. There's still 3 roaches. 3 Ravagers, 1 Roach, 2 Queens here. The Zerglings trying to surround. The Colossus is up to 7 kills. It's doing great damage. And Solar's going to have to back off at least for now. Second Colossus arrives. And that is a hold. A very important hold. There is some creep left on the front. He doesn't have detection, so he might want to go Observer after that Colossus. herO did lose 16 probes. He's chronoing to rebuild. Now, of course, he's playing Solar, guys. If you're in herO's view, you might be like, what's my opponent doing? Now, I don't need the production tab. Obviously, I've already seen it, but if I was in herO's view, I'd go, I'm playing Solar. Now, what do we know? When Solar all-ins and it fails, he builds at most 10 more drones, and then he goes for the exact same attack again. Maybe slightly more advanced. But essentially, we know there's another all-in coming. So let's look at the production tab. herO's probing very hard. He is making Stalkers and Blink. I think he's aware that there will be another wave, but he really needs to double down on safety right now because, surprise, surprise, he built a few more drones, took 1 or 2 more gases, and he's just going to make Roach speed and go again. This is what Solar does. If the first wave doesn't work, go again. But I like the addition. He's going to Ling drop the main while Mass Roach Ravager hits the front. And you don't want any Zerglings because, of course, Colossus wrecks Zerglings, so pure Roach Ravager with Roach speed makes perfect sense. Using the drop to get the Zerglings somewhere where the Colossus are not right now also makes a lot of sense. So these Lings, if his Roach Ravager engages over here, maybe the Lings could run in the third. You don't really want to fight front on these. The Zerglings are nearly worthless against the Colossus, but look at that. Double drop into the main. Roach Ravager spreading to 2 sides on the front. Does he have enough of a numbers advantage? It's a pretty good ball of Protoss units. But it's these Zerglings. Oh, it's the Lings in the main that are going to spell disaster. The Lings click in the main. The Roach Ravager Ling runs in on the right side. And that's good damage there, but he's got to go on the front as well. And there we go. Finally, Solar pulls the trigger on the front. Oh, the Colossus! One of the Colossus goes down instantly. The other ones are falling back. He doesn't bother focus firing the other ones. I think a few of these Roaches focusing the Colossus is probably a good move, though. And he's going to kill a lot of Stalkers. The Roach Ravagers there. The Colossus, of course, can fall to the high ground. 4 probes go down. The Zerglings are being dealt with to a certain extent. The Ravagers with their 6 range can click on these Colossus pretty quickly. And he's going to maybe get one. Oh, herO's stopping to attack. He should have kept stutter stepping there. That Colossus that barely survived earlier is on the high ground, doing some good damage, as is the Immortals. But I think there's just a bit too much Roach Ravager on the dance floor. 60 army supply lead right now, or about 50, I should say. It's the Immortal doing some good damage, man. That's an 11-kill Immortal. That Immortal has seen some stuff. The Stalker's playing forward on the chase. Oh, dude, herO getting good trade on this right side. There are still Overlords in the main, but they don't have anything inside them anymore. Bile not really going to land on anything. The blink forward. He's getting so many Roaches on the retreat, and he's building a Disruptor. Dude, herO. herO, if anyone can win this game from this position, it is herO. I mean, and he's not going to probe, which makes sense. Just transfer workers out of your main and your natural as they mine out to the third. Make disruptors and try to survive. Zealots are a great choice. Very good tanking units. The Roaches need to jump forwards to close the distance with the Immortals and the Colossus, which means even without charge, the Zealots could do pretty good. Stalker Observer. He's going to see the units rallying past. I think a recall on these Stalkers is probably in order. Gets himself 1 or 2 Roaches, but you don't want to lose these Stalkers, man. Oh, he's going to lose at least 1. 2, 3 Stalkers go down. The other 2 barely get home. The Disruptor gets focused. I don't know if he landed a ball at all, but he just lost a Disruptor already. A lot of Roaches did seem to go down, so maybe a Disruptor did land on them as payment for that. Penance for catching that Disruptor in the open. Colossus still alive, but it's not doing that much damage to the Roach Ravager. It does help against the Lynx, but it finally falls. And the Roach Ravager will be able to overwhelm. Solar, we've talked about it many times. Some people play Zerg versus Protoss like it's an art form, like you're making a Michelangelo level sculpture. Solar, as always, is a tradesman. He picks up 1 brick, places it on top of another brick, and he builds a solid, simple structure. And you think, well, that's not going to win any art contests, is it? And what people forget is that when the art judges say that, Solar picks up the brick, smashes it into the face of the art judge, and says, who's winning now? And they're like, all right, you win, you win. And that's how he plays EVP, and he's a master of it. He will commit 100% where other people are too afraid to, and he catches herO off guard. Really nice push to start the series. All right, guys, going into game 2. herO's in the bottom right side of the map. Looks like he's not going to try and block this game. Yes, he is. Going to try and block. I think he's saying, you know what? Solar went for the early hatch. Probably not going to do that 2 games in a row. We'll see. It's going to be a 13 pylon so that he can both start the pylon with this probe a bit early, so we cut a bit of probe production, but also get across early. This pylon is clearly misplaced, so he can't wall off on the north side, guys. Like, this doesn't take an expert to realize it's much closer to this side than that side. Maybe he can wall off if he does it there, but then his wall off won't. This is just a misplaced pylon. This is a classic herO. Now, Solar did build an Overlord this time, which means he can't get the hatchery down. Oh, you know what? He could have if he actually didn't build the extra drone. But he didn't go far enough in front to look for the probe. That's a mistake for Solar. He should have got the hatchery down. And actually, he still does because herO gets baited into following him. Good play for Solar. Good recovery from his slight mistake. Now, he's going to go for the gateway on the left here. I guess, yeah, okay. So he could go building there. And I think this probably still walls off okay. The problem is you're not going to be able to wall off with a big 3x3 structure behind the choke point. Back in the old days, that would have mattered more, especially if you're doing a non-Stargate build because you're very vulnerable to Ling Floods. But these days, Ling Flood's kind of a dead build. Pretty rare to see it, especially with the just the consistency of Oracle and Energy Recharge openings. $20 Nexus into 20 Cybercore. Hey, that Cybercore should be 1 space higher. Because now when he builds this structure... Oh no, it'll still overlap a little. It's fine. Alright, herO making the best of an awkward spot. Like I said, he can't wall off with a 3x3. If that pylon was a bit further to the right, he could. 3x3 structure is way tankier. If you wall off with a pylon or a battery, it can get instantly blown up by Banelings, Ravagers. But if you build a gateway or even better a Cybercore, 1100 hit points versus the 400 of a pylon. Very nice. 2 queens are on the way. Link speed should be starting up in a moment. Look at this. Solar's so good at pulling off. Always gets exactly 100 gas and pulls off. Attention to detail. Chronoing Adepts on the other side of the map is Mr. herO, as well as probes. We'll see this probe build the Stargate as he runs past. Nice. Now, the reason when you build buildings, guys, and this is for you, low and mid-level Protoss players on the ladder, you always want to build your buildings flush with the pylon, right up against it, because then you can squeeze another big 3x3 structure on the other side of it. If you do this, you can fit about, like, I think it's 12 or 13 gateways on a single pylon. But, of course, a lot of people I see, and they struggle to fit 3 gateways on a pylon because they're all just like, one's here, one's there, one's here, and, like, you can't fit anything in between all the spaces because they just place so badly, so... Either as close to or as far away from the pylon will do. One or the other. Artosis is smiling somewhere. 12 gates on one pylon. Well, the trick is then you could build other pylons next to it so that it has a buddy. Then there's an Artosis, a Tasteless. There's a Gemini pylon. There's a whole bunch of pylons all hanging out. Because the problem you'll find is you'll see people who literally have no space to build their buildings, and they end up with like 8 gateways clogging up their entrance, and their units can't get in and out of their base, or they're randomly building all these like gateways behind their mineral line and stuff. You can tell they're taking so much extra time to build buildings. Where'd that adept go? Back. There's also your mum's pylon. Yeah, that's always a high energy field. She warps in 4 seconds, even when she's nowhere near a nexus or a gateway. Oracle gets the creep tumor, and can he get 2? Just 1. That's good. I think if he went for a second drone, he takes a lot of damage. Okay, I mean, this is not the best micro, just flying past the queen for no reason, but that's why he wants to try and get this drone as it pops. Good cancel for Solar. Says, let's get the refund, give up the lava. It's way better than losing the drone as it pops. Twilight Council, 2 more gases on the way. This looks like a pretty standard 2 Oracle Blink play for herO. Nothing special this game. Solar has not dropped an Evo Chamber yet, so looks like we'll see a lair as soon as this Oracle's gone from the main. Oh, he's not even going to wait for it. It turns around. Oh, Queen was just a little bit too close. The Oracle does see the lair there. The Stasis Trap actually spotted it. Depth in the wall off is there as well. That's good. Just the threat of the Oracle scares the Lings away. Lets the Adepts grab 1 or 2 kills for free. Oh! I said he's not going to go Glaives. It's got to be Blink. Because the reason I said that is because it's way too late to go Resonating Glaives. Of course, one thing I forgot to account for, guys, is that herO is an insane person who loves to hit really late Adept timing. Sometimes this works because it's so late it shocks the Zerg, just catches them off guard. A lot of the time, he catches them relatively off guard, but if he doesn't do devastating damage, he still loses because it's just so late and it messes up his transition really badly. I don't think he's going to be hitting till close to 6 minutes. It's a very late Adept build. It's all about if Solar can start pumping roaches soon. The Oracle's getting 5 more drones. That's going to prompt Solar into droning even more to recover. Solar's also building more Zerglings. Oh, this is good for herO. That's good. Every Zergling, every drone you build, really good for herO. 2 roaches do start up here. Off of 55 workers. It's going to be a total of 6 queens. Depths are spotted, but he's only seen 3 of them so far. Now he sees them shading forwards. He should realize what this means. Now, yeah, he sees 2 more. Should know what this means. This is a big Glaive Adept commitment. Where are the Oracles? They're up north, so they're not even joining with this because the Adepts he knows can kind of handle themselves. Evo Chamber in the wall off. He goes for it very early, I guess, so it can't get focused down. Yep, shading up. Queens, Roaches, and Lings are going to try and fight. Lings not much of a match for this. Transfusers do go down pretty quickly. The Evo Chamber wall off opens up. The Queen's getting jumped on by the Oracles of the Adepts. Great choice to focus down those Queens with the Adepts. Now they're going to shade into the main. Hopefully opening up a new angle for the Oracles to hit elsewhere at the same time. The drones actually turn to fight. Kill themselves a Reddit point Adept. They do shade away. Good micro there for Solar. Sends the drones back to mine in the midst of the chaos. That's a really good choice because you're going to lose a lot of mining time here no matter what. But look at that. The Adepts are all going to go down. Good cleanup. That was a great hold for Solar. Caught off guard. Only loses 12 workers. Yay, trades a bit negatively. But he's now going to have a killer counterattack. Actually, it's a bit slow. He's going to load up the Dropper Lord and go for the counter. Obviously, cannons, batteries, Stalkers warping in. It's 8-gate, Blink, and +1 on the way. herO does need some more pylons. Just one more pylon, I think. Yeah, there we go. One more pylon to make sure he doesn't get supply blocked is good. Oracles. Don't see any drones. He sees a lot of Roaches and Lings. And of course, I think it's just go time. Don't even hide this Solar. Just go, man. Go, 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 go. The Queens get inside the Dropper Lord. Oracle hasn't seen it yet. Needs to be nothing but Stalkers for herO. He sees the attack now incoming. Oracles do try to catch themselves a Ravager. The Queens instantly drop to fend those Oracles away. With the Oracles now on the wrong side of the army, that means the Roachling can commit. He doesn't need to worry about the Oracles, doesn't need to wait for the Queens. It can just be go time. That's an immense amount of Stalkers, dude. Wow, that is a lot of Stalkers. They're going to just have to blink back as one big group, but he doesn't have Blink ready. He doesn't have Blink ready. Oh no, herO's in trouble. You think he thought Blink was ready, otherwise he should not have been out there. He's got some Adepts in the natural that'll help a lot against the Zerglings. Still, the cannon's buying a bit of time. Roach speed is not being made. Remember, this is a 43 worker all in. This doesn't kill herO. It's game over, man. He's got to break through. The Oracle's adding a little bit of damage to the Queens. Need to focus fire those Oracles. The Adept Stalker coming in from that right side as well, though, and it feels like herO may have just traded well enough with those early Adepts. Read exactly what the follow-up was going to be. Solar takes damage, tries to do an all-in, and does not manage to find the opening. herO gets in there, gets some good damage, transitions into nothing but Stalkers, cannons, and batteries behind it. And even though the start of that fight was a bit scary without Blink, he holds on. All right, guys, game 3 in this finals, and we know we got a good one now. It's 1-1, Taito Citadel, herO in the top left, going out with a probe, but a more normal timing. This looks like just to build a 14 pylon. And there's a nice marker that tells you where to build it. And oh my gosh, he actually uses it. He uses the little marker on the map. That might be the first time he's ever done that. Solar in the bottom right side goes for an extractor trick. Does build an Overlord. It's a giant map, Taito, so there's no need to skip the Overlord. He's going to go for the 16 hatchery. We'll get away with it very easily. Oh, gas before gate. No scout build. All right, greedy build. This is one of the maps where I think herO is much more likely to do this build order. Oh, but he's actually going to scout. Wait, gas first into gate scout? I don't... Does this make sense? I feel like there's not much reason to do this. I mean, this is a very herO thing to do, isn't it? I'm just like, I'm kind of squinting at my screen thinking, is this good? I think maybe he started doing this, then he realized, wait, Solar might all in. It's a 5-game series. Solar might do a 12 pool knowing I might not scout at this map. And then maybe changed his mind and said, oh, let's just scout. I'll just scout anyway. Have a bit more gas than normal. Bit of a later Nexus. Since I pulled off minerals so early to mine with 1 extra guy on gas. It's that Cyber Core. All right. herO will make the most of this opening. See what he could do. Solar's had a pretty efficient build as well. All right. So the pylon's scouting around. Hey, Pig, didn't the pylon at some point have a bigger power radius? I don't think so. But it definitely... In the old days, it used to warp in... pylon used to be much stronger. In the beginning of StarCraft 2, you could put a pylon on the low ground and warp in on the high ground if you had vision. So a popular build was 4-gate Zealot on one base. So you'd make a Void Ray, fly it over here, and then you'd have a pylon, and you'd warp 4 Zealots on the high ground, and your 4 Zealots and Void Ray would go ham in their base. It was a very special time in StarCraft 2, the early days. And of course, pylons would always warp in 4 seconds. In StarCraft 2, they would always go for in Legacy of the Void, sorry, they would always go for the pylon would need a gateway or a nexus next to it. A warp gate, I should say, or a nexus, or it would warp in at 11 seconds. The old days, you could just hide a pylon in the corner. Every pylon warped in 4 seconds. They introduced kind of different levels of power field, where Warp Prism is a quick warp in, and a pylon, if it's near a nexus or a gate or a warp gate, then it becomes a fast warp in pylon. Otherwise, it's going to take the 11 seconds. So they kind of said, look, there were too many games that were like Protoss players would just hide a single pylon in this little dark corner of the map, warp in a whole bunch of DTs, run them in. It was just, Protoss was such a cheese faction, essentially. Kind of designed as the ultimate cheese cheating faction in the early days of StarCraft 2, where it wasn't really about solid macro for Wings of Liberty at all. It was more about to surprise your opponent with some BS. They managed to make it a bit more macro-focused in Heart of the Swarm by giving it the Mothership Core, which had a Nexus cannon. It could turn the Nexus into a giant photon cannon that could shoot massive distance. Oracle's going to come out here. Dept is going to go secure the 3rd. Of course, the Stalker not able to find an Overlord kill as this Overlord ran away. Love to see the Overlord make a getaway, man. Love to see that. Nexus starts up on that base. We've got a 2nd gateway in the wall off. 3rd hatchery goes down. Pig, how do you pick the best games of StarCraft to cast? Different reasons. People recommend me series. Sometimes I just see big names and I don't spoil myself and I just pick it. Sometimes I hear there was a good scoreline, although apparently the series was a 3-2. And other times I just go, hey, I haven't cast any Zerg in a while. Let's pick a lot of Zergs, which was the main one between the series that I've cast this weekend in Best Games of StarCraft, because we were really light scheduling a lot of games for the YouTube, and it was like all TVP. And I was like, yeah, let's mix it up a bit. Oh, the Oracle not finding any damage. herO going deep and finding very little. Is he finally going to get a drone there? Solar's not watching. Neither is herO. Those Oracles not finding much. Just distracting, but he doesn't lose any Oracles, so I think herO is fine with that. Forge and Twilight's on the way. Looks like a blink opening for once. Whoa! Oh, Zergling's going to come in. Surrounds himself an Adept. But the Oracle will chase him away. Good defense for herO. Overlord speed again. Okay, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, guys. Solar has decided there is one way to win this game, and it's by headbutting. He has shown an Evo chamber, but he knows it got scouted. Oh, this is so clever. He's like, hey, you scouted my Evo chamber, therefore you know I'm playing +1 melee. Except I'm not. I'm just going to go for the same all-in, which normally doesn't come off this Evo chamber. Clever play here by Solar. Can he catch herO off guard? herO's going charge. He's going Templar Archives. He's building 4 more gateways. This could actually be the sort of simple genius thing that he needed to do the whole time. There is a missing gas here. Oh, the queen's getting caught. Where are the queens? herO's going to start to realize, where the hell are the queens? He sees roaches popping out. He's got to know what's happening. Cannons need to go down right now. Let's go to herO's camera, guys. herO just saw obvious signs of an all-in. And there we go. First cannon goes down. He's going to shade some Adepts back, try and pick off some of these Zerglings. The Oracles need to get home. He knows there's an all-in coming across this map. He knows there's 4 queens and a Dropper Lord, but the cannon goes down. He's not able to cancel it. He's trying to build more. Another cannon gets killed, not cancelled. Back to everyone's vision, guys. The Stalker moves out of the wall off because his name is herO, and that's what he does. He does, of course, quickly warp in time. Oracles pick off a Roach or 2 coming across. He gets 2. 2 Roaches is not bad, but actually, no, the next one does fall back. Morphs into Ravager. Only 1 Roach does fall. Energy recharge. The Oracle's trying to fight this, but of course the queens can take care of it. The 3-4 queens inside this Overlord will do some good damage, man. The Oracle's getting pushed back. The Ling Roach trying to engage. +1 Zealots are not quite there just yet. It's a good pack of Zealots, but no +1, no charge. Queen's taking some damage. Where's that transfuse? Barely gets it on the Queen, just in time. The cannon's doing a lot of damage. That Queen takes a lot. Oh, the Queens have to be careful, man. The Zealots jump on top. The Overlord does pick up and drop those Queens. Good choice. Probes pulled into the fight here. It's mostly a Zergling all-in. Once +1 Zealots come in, they wreck Zerglings. Already, Cannon Zealot doing very well. herO, is he able to scramble together a defense? It kind of feels like he has, man. This was not enough Roach or Ravager. It was meant to be a surprising fast all, and it was meant to catch a Stalker build. He was not expecting to run into Zealots, otherwise he might have built a few more Roaches and Ravagers. And herO is actually going to rinse this push. A clever surprise for Solar. Can the Zerglings make it worth it? I doubt it. Gets himself a few probes on the natural. Good pull away on those probes. The Oracles don't have energy, though. Those probes damaged. Very few actually dead. With the energy recharge, a few Zealots on top of him. Those Zerglings will go down for a totality of just 4 probes. Excellent defense by herO. And Solar, what could he be doing? Probing, going muters, maybe going for double upgrades? Of course not, guys. He's built just a handful of drones, and he's going for Roach speed in round 2 of just pure Roach Ravager. But as the Immortal Archon count grows, that's going to be a real problem. Zerglings, of course, are going to find the wide open natural yet again. That is the Artosis pylon, guys. If you build the gateways in the main, with the pylons in better positioning, way more efficient. Instead, you end up with the actual Artosis pylon if you do the sloppy building placement I was talking about. See? You guys out there hating. You're out there, you're like, you just did that with 12 gateways and 1 pylon. Yeah, in your main base. Not this stupid pylon that's actually likely to go down and remove half of his production. I do think herO is very far ahead in this game. It's unlikely to die to the next wave. 3 Immortals, 4 Archons. I mean, if he had a Warp Prism to juggle, he could also dodge Roach attacks. That would make him unkillable. See, Solar's trying to fake it out. He's trying to make it look more like, I'm spreading creep. I want to play a normal game. Look at me. There is a Warp Prism now. We've got Zergling drop towards the main. Ling run by that'll try to run in the natural. And of course, you know herO is going to F2 the moment he sees the drop in the main. So these Lings will probably get straight into the natural. Depends. Maybe he just warps in to deal with it. Does the Zealot move out? He's sending the Lings in now, but the Lings on the natural actually hit before the Lings in the main. Instant Zealot warp in. Of course, the Zealot's not on hold position in the natural. No surprises there. But can the Roach Ravager deal with this ball of Protoss savagery? That is a lot of Protoss units. The Queens, can they get rid of the Oracles? Yes, they can, but the Queens are already gone. The Archons are making mincemeat. herO knows he has the firepower to pound through that force, and he just YOLOs on top of it. A bit of a crazy commitment, but I think it might be the right one. The Lings do end up overwhelming those Warping and Zealots in the main, which means a lot of probes are going down. 12 workers going down in the main, shutting down the attack. Just full committing there rather than getting his Zealots kind of kited down or anything. Pretty good choice. Equal workers for both sides. But with +2 on the way, the ability to build Archons with your gas, Immortal Zealot with your minerals, I think this is a far more efficient army for Protoss. And the units lost degrees, 1,300 resources in favor of herO. And he's up a few workers, rebuilding a couple more as well. Zergling's going to try to go in that natural, and actually, herO on hold position for the first time in a while. Why does Zergs always hit the third? Is hitting the natural sometimes better? Sometimes. Sometimes it is. Third base is usually a bit more open. Sometimes you'll split your army up, distract at the third, and run in there. He's been doing more Ling run bys in the main and the natural. Sometimes it is very nice to lure them out into this open area, especially if they have a lot of static defense at the third. But you can also get trapped, kind of sometimes shoving your army into their natural and main and that sort of thing. Wish this matchup was more even in the late game? Yeah, 100%. It would be good to see some more variety. It would also just be good to see it not race up to the supply cap so quickly. It's part of the reason units like Roaches are so bad, is they're so terrible due to their supply costs, Roach Ravager. Which is why it's kind of like, if you're going to make Roach Ravager, which keeps you safe against a lot of things, it also expires really fast. Which is why there's this extreme urgency in Legacy to trade that Roach Ravager before it gets completely hard counted. You can't get too much. I think there was like a hive tech upgrade to make your roaches one supply? Something like that would be cool. I do have fun with that upgrade on Patches mod. I don't think it would encourage me to build roaches late game against Protoss that much, to be honest, but against Terran I like it a lot. Especially against mech. One supply roaches in the late game are nice. Stalker Immortal Archon gathering. So why is he adding Blink, guys? Is that like just because he's thinking, oh, maybe you'll squeeze in a Mutaswap? Solar's actually transitioned into kind of like a defensive all-in, I guess. He's massing Roach Ravager Zergling. He's kind of waiting for herO to attack him. Problem is herO sees what he's doing. Lings run in. They're going to kill 4 probes. Just a good choice. And then they'll run out. Wow. Just to leave the base. Here we go. Roach Ravager Zergling trying to gather forwards. The bile spreading across the front. A few Stalkers do eat it. herO shoving on creep completely unnecessarily. One of the worst attacks I've ever witnessed. herO's in a fantastically fine position the longer this game goes, but blinking forward and throwing his units into the meat grinder. An unnecessary engagement. If he wins, though, it will be a way of establishing dominance over your opponent. It felt like a big throwaway of units. But can you really lose against Roach Ravager when you've got 8 Immortals in your army? Well, if enough Zerglings come in, maybe. He needs new Archons. That's why he's making Archons on the front line as well as Zealots. We'll 2-shot those 2-1 upgrades for the Protoss. Only +1 range for Solar. And herO, always a guy who likes to push. If he thinks he can kill you, he's just going to go for it. Hedging his bets is not something that he's known for. It is something that is... Basically, he's allergic to it. Playing safe, not herO's MO. He's just going to go... He didn't have a 4th base. He felt like committing here was the right play. He's going to land some biles. Is Solar? Can he actually kill the Immortals? 3 Immortals go down. 4th one goes down. Gets the Prism as well with the Queens. herO may have thrown this game. herO was miles ahead in this one. Solar had no progression, but he kind of just waited. He's like, you know, if there's one guy you can just go home and defend against, like Solar would normally never do this. Sit back and max on 65 Drone Roach Ravager, because he'd be like, well, Protoss will just beat me later. But he realized who he's playing against. He said, look, against one player in the world, is this a good play? herO. herO's the most overeager Protoss ever. herO never sits there and plays safe. There's always a decent chance you can just max on an army that you know is going to be bad a few minutes from now. But if you just sit there, you can just wait, and he will come to you and give you that fight that you're waiting for. The herO giveth and the herO taketh away. Stalkers come in, pick off 5 drones and recall. Cute pressure for herO. This is not game over. You've still got incredibly efficient gas units in the Archons. If Storm had been made, it would have been devastating to Solar in this game, by the way. It's actually criminal that herO's refusing to make Psystorm. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes he's made in this game, but I think Psystorm in a 4th base, and he would have been in a great spot, pretty much unkillable. There is a new Warp Prism being built right now. It's going to come out soon. Trying to secure a fourth area, not able to get it just yet. The commitment to Blink Stalkers did befuddle me a little bit. I think he was just worried about a muta swap, so he wanted a kind of flexible in-between unit. Roaches run in, Artosis does get sniped. There is a backup pylon powering the Forge and one gateway at least. So Archon could go down. You don't really want to throw these Roaches away. Is he going to throw them away? Oh, Solar's now committing. So Solar's actually playing full aggro now. Uh-oh. herO's army split up. That's a crazy Ravager count. What is this Ravager count? Holy moly, he's got 21 Ravagers. Oh my god, I mean, they're good for kiting, but they're not good for pushing up choke points like that. You want a big, wide open area where you can use the bile as much as possible. He's going to try and add banelings to this. You want to fight in the open, use their 6 range, use their biles. Problem is their stats suck. If he gets pressed up against a wall by the Archon Immortal, the Ravagers will get absolutely ravaged. And that's kind of funny because, you know, I've always said the Ravager is not the correct unit name for this unit. Its name should be the Disruptor, because the Corrosive Bile is kind of this little orange poppy boy. He's like, yo, I'm going to throw a firecracker at you. Meanwhile, the Disruptor actually throws a friggin' AoE that can blow up an entire army. And they call that the Disruptor. I'm like, this guy should be called the Disruptor. The Disruptor should be called the Ravager, because it ravages, or at least it used to. To be fair, it's lost some of that ravaging power these days. Big Ravager timing here. Good dodges on the Biles, but one Archon does go down. His fourth base is up. Lings are in the natural again. Artosis pylon only just being rebuilt. Huge problems for herO as he tries to jump on top of him. He's losing his entire natural mineral line. The Nexus is going to go down. The Archons are all falling. He does get rid of the Nexus. Solar on 5 bases. Knows he can just pull back, defend the Zealot counter, and do really well. Finally, Zealots warping in, but only after 9 probes go down. It's kind of all, and he's built a Void Ray as herO. herO seems to be doing what I do in these sorts of games, which I would refer to as a strategy called, what did Sun Tzu say? When chaos comes to you, click random buttons in a random order. And I think that's what the Void Ray is all about. It really does allow you to have a random unit that wanders around these battles and tickles some things. It does cost 400 resources to build. Some would say probably not worth for that cost. But yeah. The Void Ray, I mean, obviously, I know there's only 3 queens. There's no anti-air, but like, it's a lot of money in a situation where Psystorm counters the entire army of Solar. But herO is just refusing to build Psystorm in a game where his mineral income's almost gone. He had gas income for many minutes after that, but he's massing Archons into mass Ravager. Ravagers counter Archons. It's a soft counter, but it is a counter, and he continues to dump his gas into Archons, and that's a big problem. Gonna try and drop some units forwards here. Model Archon moving up. He's got some sentries. Solar cannot chase him into this choke point. That's not a good choice, I don't think, is it? He's gonna chase into the choke point. He trusts the numbers. Oh my lord! No force fields or anything coming in. The Ravager's kind of derping forward. Crazy fight for Solar. I'm not sure why he ran into the choke point there. Like I said, you want to kind of keep your opponent's army at arm's length and spread out those Ravagers. He's added Ling Bane now, though. Solar does have 5 bases. He's got to just defend. I mean, herO's running out. His natural's going to finish mining out in about a minute. His third's only got 4 mineral patches. He's long distance mining, but he's still got a fair bit of gas coming in. Archons need to be kited. Otherwise, fighting Ling Bane into the Archons is rough. I think Solar needs to keep the Ling Bane in reserve and actually just fight with the Roach Ravager, do a fighting retreat, and then bring the Banelings in only if herO like dives deep. Here we go. He's got a lot of Banes. herO's going to shove in. Oh my god, the Banelings are going to actually be quite useful here. Even though they're hitting mostly Immortals, they're setting off all the barriers. The Zealots and Stalkers getting cleansed. An amazing fight at the start for Solar, but the Ravagers, can they stand and swing? I think the answer is no. The Zealot Warpit is going to be so good there. He didn't save the Biles for the Prism. Oh my god, herO, can he punch through? These Immortals powerful, but he's eating big Biles. The Ravager count's dropping, Transfusers going down. And the last Archon and Zealot falls. At the same time, a few Zerglings just killed 19 probes. What an absolute poop shoot of a game. What an absolutely silly one. Solar's all in, gets absolutely crushed by one of the best holds I've seen in a while. His second wave cannot find the damage he needs. He is desperate. He is at a loss for words, going, oh, I'm screwed. I will take a 4th base. I'll start +1 range off this fake Evo chamber from earlier, and I guess we'll try to recover from down on workers on a defunct comp against a guy who's got heavy Immortal Prism Archon already out. And then instead of making Storm, herO clicks the blink button against a 3-base Zerg, who you've not spotted that much gas from. You've seen him spend all of his gas on Ravagers. Mutas just aren't that big of a threat here. Especially not seeing gases on the 4th. I mean, I don't mind the blink, but to not go Storm and a 4th base here, I mean, it's entirely unnecessary. And to spot someone, I want to explain to you, you've seen Mass Roach Ravager. This is an army where when you see Mass Roach Ravager as a Protoss, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, almost always, like 95% of the time, the answer is just always the same. It's defend, add splash damage, build a bigger army. The bigger the army gets and the more splash damage I add, this Roach Ravager is going to fall from bad against Immortals to terrible against Immortal Storm. And if you fight this with a maxed Immortal Storm Archon army, this Roach Ravager will be nearly worthless. We've seen Roach Ravager Lingbane run into maxed Storm Archon Immortal armies where the Protoss loses 15 to 20 supply and the Zerg loses 100 supply. We're talking 5-to-1 levels of trading. herO, on the other hand, decided to go aggressive and attack into it. And that just is crazy. He makes Sentry randomly, he makes Blink, adds another Immortal or two, doesn't take a fourth. He's in such a good spot. Don't get me wrong, it's hard to read the game from here, but he had a Prism scouting. He just saw the missing gas. He knows there's no mutas. He knows there's just 4 base minerals and Roach Ravager and not much else. Attacking here really made no sense. Obviously, letting Lings in continually as well. This is herO and his weakest part of StarCraft. herO, when he is ahead in StarCraft and the correct move is to just defend and get further ahead, that's when herO's weakness gets revealed. And the Gold League player that is just refuses to defend, refuses to play safe, takes over. And herO, unfortunately, throws a game here. I do want to give credit to Solar. Solar never does this. Defending into maxed out Roach Ravager with +1, it's a bad style. Because any Protoss player knows they can just defend against this, go for the fourth, go for the Storm, slowly tech their way to Mothership and Tempest. They're never going to lose against this, right? Solar realized who he was playing, and he knew against this player specifically, I will do this one thing that I normally would never do, and he pulls it off. Well played for Solar. He's up 2-1. All right, guys. herO in the top right. He's going to try and block on White Rabbit. It's a big map. I think sending one of your first probes across should be adequate, unless Solar chooses to delay the Overlord. Sorry, we did have the sound muted there accidentally. 100 minerals coming in. Will he start the Overlord? The answer is no. Oh, yes, he does. He just delayed it a second. That's all. Solar will not be able to get his hatchery down as a result of that, I don't believe. So even if he goes 15 hatchery, there's no way he gets 275 minerals in time, is there? Oh, he cancelled the Overlord. He cancels the Overlord because, oh, his Overlord sees the probe, cancels his Overlord reactively and puts the hatchery down. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, man. Maybe that's why he started the Overlord 2 seconds late, because otherwise it would have popped out before he sees the probe. Wow, I didn't realize that you could do that reactively, as long as you make sure your Overlord's going through the middle to see the probe coming. That's so cool. Thank you, Tall. Hey, I appreciate the tip, mate. Thank you, guys. Spawning pool goes down. And then gas afterwards. He doesn't want to delay the spawning pool too long, because then the queens get delayed. herO, of course, going to be a nuisance with his probe. I just love this opening for Solar. Yeah, Solar did this in a match yesterday, and I didn't catch it. I thought he'd cancelled the Overlord earlier. But I didn't realize it was the Overlord spotted the probe, and that's why he'd cancelled the Overlord. That's what I missed yesterday in that other cast. So I think that was the Solar Max Pack series that I cast yesterday. He did that in one of the games, and I was like, oh, he randomly cancelled his Overlord. Oh, I guess he changed his mind. So, sorry, guys. No one pointed it out in chat, at least not after the game. If you guys ever catch something like that and I've missed it, please let me know. If you're watching on YouTube, timestamps, guys. Timestamps. I do get some people giving feedback. Some of it's really good, some of it's really stupid, but if you want me to engage with it, please do drop a timestamp. It's really easy. Just based on the time in the YouTube video, you can go, oh, it's 43 minutes and 17 seconds. You type that into the comments. I can click that. It takes me to what you're talking about. The number of times, I mean, you guys see, I put up a video most days on Pigcast. Some of them are 2 hours long, some half an hour long. That's a lot of StarCraft. Sometimes people will post on a month-old video that's an hour and a half long, and they'll be like, you're so wrong about the dropship. I'll be like, okay, I assume they're talking about the medevac. But this is a 5 games EVT. And there was 16 drops across the series. I cast it a month ago. Can't remember what you're talking about in the hour and a half long video. Please do. I mean, the thing is, sometimes they've got some really good feedback. I've like misanalyzed something. And I'm like, I'd love to actually know what you're talking about, but it's hard to figure it out. There are times where I've skimmed a whole hour long video, and I will go find it as well. Only Roddy can remember. You think Roddy can remember when you say you're wrong about the dropship? That's the thing, is like these comments are so vague sometimes. I'm like, if they at least said, oh, when you said blah, 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 and I think you were wrong about this because of this, like I can usually figure it out even without the timestamp. The timestamp would help because sometimes people misunderstood what I was saying. But it's funny. StarCraft's a pretty vast game. As I always say, guys, I'm not the suppository of all knowledge. I don't pretend to be. I know a fair bit. I try to reason things out. Been playing the game, talking about it for a long time, but you guys almost always have something to add, and insight can be added even from Silver League players. I'm just going to be shading forwards. Oh, God, gets a creep tumor snipe. Nice move for herO. herO's on his last life. This is good. Mining time, and oh, that was a nice spore. Does get to, okay, 3 drones, doesn't lose the Oracle. Take that any day of the week. Now, the Adepts don't really have a nice corner to hide in, so they should back away. I don't know why there's still a probe on this side of the map, guys. Third hatchery's up. Nexus has gone down on the third. Double gas as well. No wall off just yet. herO being nice and greedy because he's got the Adepts and the Oracles just pinning Solar on the defensive. Very nice start. No, it's the suppository, not repository. Yeah. Dude, last time I mentioned this one, there was so many YouTube going to be like, excuse me, Pig, I don't think you know what a suppository is. And I was like, no, I know. I missaid it one time, and ever since then, it's become the way I say that phrase. I like it. I don't know, it just has a certain ring to it. Because I mean, I'm also saying I'm not, which means I'm not a suppository. So, you know, it's not like it's incorrect. Oh, he's going to get the queens? Crazy commit for herO. He's going to lose 1 Oracle. If he loses 2, that's bad. That queen popping out at the clutch moment. The other queen comes over and gets her. Wow. Big shutdown. 2 Oracles, 3 Adepts for just a few queens. Shutdown. And your pylon goes down. Oh, dude, the queen popping out, the other queen arriving, and the spore finishing in the middle of the fight. herO overcommits. That's the sort of attack that can do crazy damage. The whole idea is he knows Solar delays the spore on the third, often defends with just 3 queens. And if you go with 3 Oracles, they beat 3 queens. But if you also go in with 2 Adepts, tank a few of the queen shots, add a little bit of damage with the Adepts beforehand, you can crush that fight. Trade an Oracle and 2 Adepts to kill 3 queens and just get free reign of their bases. Because if you kill those queens, you could fly around between the mineral lines as long as you're not flying into spores and murder. It's a cool idea. I love the idea for what herO did. A lot of people go, oh, it didn't work. What a dum-dum. But I'm like, no. If you think about that, in theory, it's good. He missed his timing by like 4 or 5 seconds. If he was 4 or 5 seconds earlier, that's a much better attack. As it is, Solar, excellent start. He's got a free pass to Lair, Bailey Nest. He's got his +1 melee almost done. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Hydra Den coming down soon. Yep. He was a bit supply blocked, so he built 7 Overlords at once. Oracles and Adepts. Denying creep. And Lings are going to move across the map. Stalkers, of course, warping in at the third base. I think you need to go Templar Archives and Storm right now. As herO, or this Hydra timing is going to be nigh unstoppable. herO's got 500 gas. He's very slow to respond right now. 6-gate blink is not going to cut it. He's going to go forward blink aggression. Oh, he's going to commit to a 7 or 8-gate forward blink attack on this right side. Wow, okay, I wasn't thinking of that. Groove Spines, not quite there yet. Hydra Count's not there yet. Oh my gosh, he's going to find an opening. It seems like a crazy attack. Now, the Lings are going to spot the pylon. Good attack. Breaking that gateway will force more warp-ins at home. herO does need to put more warp-ins at home. Warps in 4 Stalkers. That's a lot of Stalkers to warp in. Oh, 1 Oracle goes down. Got to keep these Oracles alive. You need to use those to clear creep. Queens taking massive damage, as are the Hydras. Once these Lings come in, that's when you're in big trouble, man. You've got to be careful against these Lings. The Stalkers are doing good damage. Can the Lings punish him now? Oh, Stasis Trap goes off. More Lings coming in. It's a good trade for herO, it feels like, but Zerglings, once they get on top, clean up a few Stalkers. 3 Stalkers go down. 2 Oracles have died this game. Only 1 in this fight, though. Stalkers are still on the front. The Hydra Count's not together just yet. Those Queens have tanked a lot of damage, bought a lot of time. The Hydra Count's finally here with Groove Spines. Is it enough to hold on? He may need to pull drones as well. The Stalker micro is excellent for herO. herO leaning on Solar, trying to find the damage. No warp-ins at home, which means that gateway is going to go down. Okay, he does warp in one Stalker, but one Stalker will not stop those units. I think he needs to re-wall. If herO doesn't re-wall, I think he's going to get in. And that's a real problem for herO. He's going to have to fight with the probes. The probes, he's going to lose a lot of workers here. herO does not want to give up attention on the front, though. He doesn't have Storm, remember. He doesn't have Storm. He can't swap out of this. He's got to keep the Hydra count low. But that Hydra count looks like anything but a small amount of Hydras. That is turning into a swarm. The brood of Zerglings and Hydras moving back and forth in the top side. 15 workers go down on herO's natural, and Solar is going to hold on. An excellent start for him. herO, I thought he would play Storm, turtle it out, use Defender's Advantage. After the start didn't go his favor. But herO said, you know what? You're ahead. You might be greedy. And if you're extra greedy, I can catch you off with this attack, even though my first wave didn't work out with the Oracles and Adepts. He gambled. He gambled hard. And I'm telling you, man, he wanted heads, and he's gotten a few tails in a row now. This is going really rough for him. Stasis Trap's not really finding any value. Muscular Augments is here. The Hydras are going to try and think about shoving forward. Every Zergling that trickles in is so good at tanking damage. Blinking forward to get a Hydra might cost him a few Stalkers. And indeed, 3-4 Stalkers go down. 5 Stalkers go down. Lings once again on the counterattack. Cybercore is going to fall. Beautiful play here with these little tactical Zergling counters by Solar. 4 base 70 drone Zerg against a 50 probe 3 base Protoss. herO right now, he's in a very bad spot. If he drops the Templar Archives, makes Storm, even then it's too late. I don't think he has time to get energy. I mean, he's going to try and take a gas. He's going to think about transitioning. He's got to rebuild his Cybercore. Ugh. Stalkers, got to blink back. One of them does go down. Oh, Banelings are going to roll forwards. Oh, okay. Not going to find anything. Good block there for herO. But oh my gosh, how many Stalkers did he lose while he was microing? At least 3 more extra Stalker corpses there. And now as these units wrap around, oh, this sandwich is going to be brutal. Hydralisk, whole grain bread, extra seeds. They've added extra fiber and vitamins and nutrients. Oh, the Stalker filling is going to recall out. Only one Stalker goes down. Good runaway there for a herO, but his Templar Archives has only just gone down, and Solar's happy to collapse that sandwich and then quickly move it back across the map, looking for his next Protoss mail. Whoo! Got people asking about first time on the ladder, losing games. You start in the middle of the ladder, so you're meant to lose games at the start. We'll give you guys a whole talk on how the ladder works in a bit. You're meant to lose your first 5 or 10 games of any ranked ladder for a strategy game. You play shooters and stuff, they hold your hand a lot more early on. But strategy games don't do that. The more games you lose, the easier your opponents, so stick it out. Hydraling, Bane's rolling forward. Bane's on the right side as well. It's going to roll into the natural. Third base also. Stalkers are getting behind the enemy push, but those Banelings are going to go boom, baby. Lings in this mineral line as well. The rally is getting intercepted by those Stalkers. They're blinking on the Banes. Solar says, nah, I'm not going to run back. He's thinking about it, but I think he's realized, just go forwards. There's no reason to run back. I'm killing all your base. Yeah, you're killing a few units on my rally point. I don't care. I have a blob of Hydras. I'm about to get in here and smash on through. Stalkers pulling to the left, Stalkers to the right. herO will keep trying to micro. But that was just too good of a start. That early hold combined with +1 melee. Solar too good there in the early game. I really love the idea for herO. This is what makes his play so dynamic. Who the hell commits to a triple Oracle dive on the 3 queens? herO. herO's a crazy guy. And this is a pattern. Solar does the same thing every game. herO said, you know what? I think there's this tiny window I can take advantage of. Maybe if he chronoed the 3rd Oracle, it would have actually been an opening. But like I said, he missed the timing by about 4 or 5 seconds. So these Lings go there to do damage. He shades the Adepts in. But then it's like, yeah. Good focus fire quickly with the Oracles. The Adepts don't really add any damage to them. You can see the Spore finishes, the Queen finishes, and the other Queen comes in. And it goes from maybe that could have worked to absolute disaster. From this point, he's in a bad spot. It's me as a more conservative player. I would say, okay, we're going to play, maybe we'll pressure with like 8 Stalkers off of our 4 gates. 2 Oracles. Except, oh wait, we lost our Oracles. Maybe I'll just rebuild 1 Oracle. Yeah, so we'll do 2 Oracle, 8 Stalker pressure. But I would just be probing adding a Templar Archives, making Storm, and trying to get to the late game where I feel Protoss is favored, especially on such a big map. And to continue attacking it, it's a very herO move. I think it kind of is so unexpected. I don't think Solar anticipated it necessarily, but he stopped at the right count. Going to 70 workers and then just massing Hydras. I mean, there was a scary moment, right? Where all of his Lings were on the other side of the map. That early Stalker commit kind of caught him off guard. But he just got his Hydras up in time. If it was 10 seconds later on his hydras, who knows? Maybe this works. herO, as always, gambling. Solar wins the Kung Fu Cup here with a 3-1 record. GG, well played. Takes herO out and wins the game in the series. GG, well played, Solar. A fantastic run in this one.